joining us as we look at the Word of God, remember that Jesus has said, we're going back to Judea, and they said, now they're wanting to stone you there. And then he goes back to talking about Lazarus, and so they're convinced, okay, Jesus has got his mind set on going back to Jerusalem. And just to give Thomas some credit, you always hear doubting Thomas, doubting Thomas. Listen to what Thomas says here in verse 16 of John 11. Thomas, who is called Didymus, Didymus means twin, so he had a twin, said to it, mine is Brad Pitt. No, okay, anyway, he had a twin, and he said to his fellow disciples, let's go so we may die with him. Courage. I mean, courage. We're about to go back to Jerusalem. They're going to stone Jesus, and if they're going to stone Jesus, they can just stone us right along with him. There's some guts there on the part of Thomas. But you know what? You dying for Jesus won't save your soul. What saves your soul is faith. Hebrews 11:6. Without faith, it's impossible to please him. Romans 5:1. Being justified by faith, we have peace with God. John 3:16. I won't quote the whole verse, but whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And believe is actually the verb form of the noun faith. It's just you can't put it in English. God so loved the world, etc., so that whoever faiths in him should not perish but have everlasting life. But that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about just believing some facts about Jesus. We're talking about trusting him, the person, Jesus, to save you like he said he would. And so Thomas, even though he was willing to go get stoned alongside of Jesus, would not have made it to heaven without faith. Now, I'm convinced, of course, that Thomas was a man of faith, and later he was martyred for his beliefs, martyred for his testimony, gave every evidence that he really did believe. But you know that after Jesus was resurrected, that 10 disciples said, we've seen the resurrected Christ, and Thomas said, well, I need to see him for myself and put my finger in the holes. So Jesus shows up the second time, and there he is in their presence, and he says, Thomas, here you go. Thomas said, oh my, my Lord and my God. And then he says in verse 29 of John chapter 20, Thomas, because you have seen, you believe. Blessed are those who have not seen, yet believe. That's you and me. Bless you for believing in the crucified and risen and coming again Christ. Have a great day.